Here's some tips on how to improve as a top laner. Number 1. Scout possible invade routes. You just basically stand on the river and wait for enemies to show up, and if they don't show up, you know that they are not invading you. Here's a picture of the map with both paths to follow when scouting top. Number 2. How do I set up a freeze? You want to only last hit the minions. And also, if you see the enemy pushing like Gangplank is in the video, you want to kill the melees and keep tanking and last hitting the casters. Always remember to kite the casters a little bit back, or to keep them out of tower range by tanking them right in front of the tower, or by kiting them and walking into the bush in order to drop the minion aggro. 3 casters are the optimal number of minions to set up a freeze because you don't take too much damage, and they won't kill your next wave too quickly. To maintain a freeze against big waves you will have to trade a lot of your HP, so be aware of that. It is okay to pull the melees into tower range, do not pull the casters into tower range. Number 3. Trading. Trade accordingly to which champion you're playing against and his skill cooldowns. As a rule of thumb, only trade when you have more minions than the enemy. Be more aggressive and trade more often if you have better lifesteal, a lot of health regen, or a strong shield. In normal situations you should use your skills to trade or harass because only auto attacks will draw minion aggro. Number 4. Shoving. You want to shove after the enemy leaves his lane, which could be a roam, a recall, or a kill. Number 5. Breaking a freeze. To break a freeze, all you have to do is kill a creep wave under the enemy tower. This will reset your lane, and the next time the minions meet it will be the center of the lane. Number 6. Flanks. Basically, that's gonna be your job as a tank for the rest of the game after laning phase. By flanking the enemy team, you can get a pick or scatter the enemy team. That's a great way of engaging a teamfight. If you can, try to flank from where the enemy has no vision or by teleporting onto a deep ward. However, you should keep in mind that you can't always engage with a flank. Assess the situation using your own experience and decide whether or not a flank is going to be a good idea. Number 6. Bad flanks. Here's an example on a really bad flank. So basically I don't have any vision at all. I only assume that there could be more enemies than Talia under the turret. So yeah, here I go. I just go in and I'm gonna die in a few seconds. Number 7. Use your F keys. If your notebook or keyboard doesn't have any function or F keys, you should rebind those commands in the League of Legends settings to other free keys on your keyboard. By using the F keys you force yourself to have better map awareness. Furthermore, you get more information than just looking at the map. For example, you can see the minion HP. You can also see whether or not your teammates are fighting right now and which skills they are using and which skills the enemies are using. Using the F keys is faster and more accurate than looking or clicking on the map. Make it a habit to rotate through your F buttons whenever you have nothing to do. This could be while waiting for lane minions to meet, for example. It could be while you're walking to another camp as a jungler. It could be when you're recalling, or it could be when you're walking back to your lane. Number 8. What champions do I play? For the record, this applies only to non-one-trick ponies in the elo between bronze and about diamond 5. Most easy top laners have a strong point-and-click CC. For example, Poppy has her stun, Maokai has a root, Nautilus has his passive, Rammus has a very strong taunt, and Volibear, which is kinda off meta right now, but he has his throw. Play champions that have strong shields, health regeneration or decent lifesteal to stay in lane and fights long enough. Do not play high skill cap champions. Yes, I'm talking to you, Mr. Silver Yasuo one-trick pony. Instead of being able to punish mistakes, you will tend to force your own mistakes because of mechanical error. Play a champion with a strong engage such as Poppy, Rammus, Nautilus, Maokai, Shen or Malphite. Your job as a tank is to provide fast and strong CC. It is to CC multiple enemies, and it is being able to break the front lines and scatter the enemy team. Now let's get to number 9 and my favorite topic. Have foresight. Imagine you're on low HP after a gank, and you want to teleport back into lane after recalling. Think about what your teleport could be used for in the next 5 minutes. It could be to save a tower, it could be a flank teleport, it could be to secure dragon, or it could be to siege an enemy tower. Make your decision based on the information you have in this particular match you're playing. Before you decide to trade kills, for example dive the enemy and you both die, remind yourself that even though you don't put yourself behind, the enemy top will still be 300 gold ahead of the rest of your team. Before trying to all-in the enemy with flash, think about whether or not you may need this flash to escape a gank in the next 5 minutes. Before going on someone, think about whether or not there is a possible way a mechanical error will ruin the kill. If it can actually happen, think about what you could do about it for it not to happen, obviously. For example, apply a stun. Before you try to do a big trade, or before you try to kill the enemy top laner, think about whether or not his summoners are up. Before you freeze or push your lane, think about where your jungler or mid is, and if he can gank or not. The same applies to the enemy jungler and mid. Try to give everything you do a purpose. Every interaction with the lane's minions and enemies should have a purpose. For example, focusing on CSing to get gold, freezing your lane so you can get a gank, pushing your lane to keep the enemy from roaming, or shoving so you can teleport bot or mid. Don't trade because you don't like the enemy and want to punch his face. Trade to get a kill or to zone him out of CS and gold. In conclusion, consider multiple outcomes before committing to anything you do to avoid forcing a mistake. You should rather wait for the enemy to make the mistake and then punish it. So this type of playstyle I'm trying to explain here is a rather safe one, and most of the people consider it really boring. However, it is strategically the best way to play League of Legends. I mean, how many times have you tried this huge play and just miserably failed? Also, this boring playstyle will make your enemies play more aggressively because they get bored and increase the amount of mistakes they are making. Remember, this doesn't work against all players, but from my own experience it works against most players from bronze to around platinum 1. Let's get to number 10, the final topic, which is to make mistakes. Do not be afraid of making mistakes. It is better to make mistakes and to learn from them. If you have 7 deaths, but you have 80% kill contribution on your team, then that's a lot better than having 0 deaths and only like 10% kill contribution. Every new mistake you make should bring you experience and understanding and how not to do it again. So in short, it's okay to throw a fight, it's okay to die, it's okay to do a bad flank or a bad engage, and it's okay to make mechanical errors.